The Baggies Podcast, giving you the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. Now available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Hello Albion fans and welcome to the Baggies Podcast, where of course we're giving you the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. It's finally time to say it, but West Bromwich Albion have been relegated from the Premier League. I mean, just a season after coming up from it, just not even a season actually, but yes, just a relegation confirmed by a 3-1 defeat against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium today. I mean, it's not surprising, is it? I'm sure a lot of you will agree with me. It's not surprising. It's something we've known probably since the last game against Arsenal that it's relegation for us. I personally just sort of accepted it when we hit that game against, I think it was when we got to Newcastle, the 0-0. I think that was where I thought, there's just no point really anymore in bothering believing. But it's finally over. Albion's relegation confirmed. We're going to be discussing all of that in today's episode. Lots of stuff to get on with. Plenty of reaction from you guys on Twitter. Plenty of reaction from the whole community. It's nice to see that this, although is a sad day for the club, I'm sure a lot of people aren't feeling too sad. I mean, I'll talk about the last time we got relegated a bit later on because I'm wearing the shirt that we last wore when we were relegated in 17-18, I think it was. And but yeah, we'll get onto that in a bit. But there is a bit of sadness, but it's nice to see a nice communal spirit throughout the Albion community. It's always nice to see that at the moment, especially via social media. So yeah, I'll be giving you all guys thoughts. I'll be going through my thoughts and talking about what needs to be done next season because obviously things need to change. Things need to be done properly to ensure our immediate return to the Premier League, or near immediate anyway. But yeah, without further ado, if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I know this is probably going to be a reasonably listened to episode, and I know I'll probably have some new listeners here. But if you are new, make sure you drop a subscribe. Drop us a review if you've enjoyed it as well. That really does help me out. And yeah, let's get straight into this. It's West Bromwich Albion in brackets. So here we are again. Relegation confirmed for West Bromwich Albion against Arsenal today. It's difficult. It's a difficult pill to swallow, let's be honest. It's relegation. Nobody wants it. Nobody enjoys it. Nobody, has a real hungering for relegation. But it's something that a lot of us have accepted quite recently, and a lot of us have had it probably ingrained in us since the start of this season. I mean, there have been times this season where I've just looked at the squad and gone, it's not good enough. But it's a bit difficult to take because you think about the way that we have put in promising performances this season. You look at Chelsea 5-2, you look at Southampton 3-0, you look at even the Chelsea 3-3 game at the start of the season. That filled me personally with a lot of hope. Whether that was sort of deluded hope and whether I was just sort of, it's West Brom, wow, I'm sort of blinded by the love for the team. But it's in that sort of respect, it gave us a lot of hope. There were performances where we've seen that's a Premier League quality side, that's a mid-table Premier League team that we're playing with, but we finished second, well, could it even be third bottom in the Premier League, but we finished inside the relegation zone, and it's not like it's like not like last season when it's the game before the last game of the season where we've ended up going down. Last time we got relegated, we've actually been cut adrift. I mean, with 3 games to play, it's not so bad, but we have essentially had the R hovering over our name for quite a while now. There have been points in the season where a lot of us have perhaps been a bit, thinking about how we're very close to getting relegated and how we're very close to feeling that thoughts of perhaps getting relegated. But yeah, for me, I mean, we've been hovering above it, but we've not quite accepted it completely yet. I mean, I know we've been really good, but at times this season, like in the game against Chelsea, but overall it's been very bleak. It's not been a nice season to watch for an Albion fan. I mean, this game today, I didn't even want to go down and watch it. Let's face it, I didn't even want to go and watch it because it was a game I knew that we weren't going to, it was one of them, just you're not going to do great from it, so why are we even bothering watching it? Yeah. I mean, Allardyce has tried his best, I think, with what he's got. I think he's had limited resources to work with, let's face it. He's essentially dealing with somebody else's squad for me, Allardyce. He's done a decent job. He's done as much as he can and he's finally got us playing like a mid-table Premier League side, but it's too late. He's ran out of time, is what I'm going to say about Allardyce. He's ran out of time. He's done a reasonable job with the players he's had, and I think he's been really helped by the additions of Yukuşlu, Maitland-Niles, Diagne as well. I think that's really helped him out. However, I think it's difficult to sort of perceive the way that we're playing because we haven't quite looked in relegation form for the past, let's face it, 10 games or so. I mean, let's have a look at the past 10 games or so, because I can't remember a game where we've looked really, really bad over the past 10 games. I might be proven wrong here, and I'm sure I will be. But, yeah, I'd say maybe that the Crystal Palace game would probably be one for me, where we've looked like a relegation side, and maybe the Leicester game, but we were outclassed by Leicester in the space of about 10 minutes, to be quite honest. But it's a difficult one to take for Albion fans. It's a difficult one, I'm sure, for a lot of you guys to take. But I think we can all agree on one thing, and we do enjoy the Championship. It's not a bad league. It's a very good league. It's very entertaining. But yeah, I'm sort of thinking I quite enjoy the Championship. But where you want to be is the Premier League. It's better for the club financially. It's better for the quality of players on show. Although the Championship is entertaining, the away days will probably be fantastic. Hopefully, if they're all available in time for next season, and it's a very good atmosphere, the Championship. But I still believe that we are a Premier League club. We are a Premier League club for me. Always have been. Always will be for me. I think we've always proved ourselves as being a Premier League club throughout my lifetime, in particular, of the past sort of 15 years where I've been really supporting the Albion. It's always been Premier League for me. I've seen us a couple of times in the Championship over recent years, but it's always been Premier League. So for me, it's quite difficult to look at us and see the R over our name again, but I'm not surprised. We've been awful. We haven't played well. We haven't really showed ourselves in a good light this season at all. I mean, today, I'll talk a bit about today, actually, against Arsenal. We conceded 3 really, really good goals, let's face it. I know that we did really well. Arsenal, I mean, did really, really well with the goals that they scored. Pepe's goal was really good. Willian's free kick, it's all right. That one was, I think Johnson could have done a bit more about that. Then there's also, what's the other one? Emil Smith-Rowe, just a bit of nice movement in the box. But we've proved ourselves to show intermittent Premier League quality. That's the annoying thing. We've shown it in times there. It's nice to see Dean Garner getting a run out. Really nice to see him doing that. Nice to see Allardyce playing him. Not sure about the Carney substitution, but we'll just roll with that for now. Yeah. I think the owners are the real problem at the club. I think you can have whatever manager, whatever players in front, and if your owners aren't really at the heart of things and they aren't really the heartbeat of the club, and they haven't got almost like footballing blood racing through their veins, you're always going to have a problem. I think we found it last time. This is the second relegation that Guatemala and Lie and his consortium have had at West Bromwich Albion. I think they surely have learnt the lesson, because obviously if you manage a club and run a club like this, they're going to keep going down. Yes, you can go back up because you've inevitably got that Premier League quality still ingrained in you, and you've still got Premier League players. And you're always going to attract managers because you've got Premier League status for 10 years or so beforehand. So you're basically going, oh, this is a Premier League team that I can just easily take up. Like you would if you went to somebody like, I don't know, maybe a team that's just Watford. Maybe if you looked at them now, you'd think, oh, they've just come, they're one of them teams that play, they're one of them teams that have been up and down in the Premier League. Norwich as well, probably. And you just look at them and it attracts managers, it attracts players, because you see them as a Premier League club in that sort of respect. It's the same with us. You look at our team and you look at our club and you think, if you're a manager and you think, yeah, they're going to be a Premier League team in a couple of years' time, maybe I can help them on their journey. So we're never going to be short of a manager for over the next couple of years. Let's face it, we're never going to be short of a manager. We can attract players because everybody knows that we're going to be up there at least next season or the season after. I don't know what we're planning on doing, or I don't know if we've even got a plan, so that might not be completely possible. But whether it's Allardyce whether it's a different manager. I think we're going to still attract some nice players. I think, unfortunately, it's going to mean that players are going to leave. I think that Johnston is going to be the one to leave. I think Pereira, I think we could very easily price him out of a move, but I think with Johnston, if teams are going to pay 20 million for him, you can't possibly turn that down. That is 20 million, and you won't even have to spend a penny on a replacement, because I think a penny. Not a penny of that's going to be spent on a goalkeeper, because you've got Palmer, who's done a really good job with Lincoln in League One. Potentially, I think they could potentially go up as well to the Championship, so might be one of them to just keep an eye on. He's meant to be a very good goalkeeper as well, Palmer. So yeah, they could very well go via the playoffs with Palmer in goal. Josh Griffiths as well, of Cheltenham Town, who have gone up to League One this season. Maybe he could do with another loan spell, but even so, there's there's Josh Griffiths there as well, who could potentially come in and do you a job. But for me, it's all about what happens now. What happens next? Because you're relegated from the Premier League now. You know you're going down. What's going to happen over these next 3 games? Are you going to make your decision, the owners or the board, the technical director, Luke Dowling? Are you going to make your decisions now? Are you going to make your decisions in a few weeks' time? Are you going to make them with 2 weeks to go before the Championship season? I just think things need to be done in a swift manner. You need to decide, is it Allardyce? You need to make things crystal clear with him about what you're going to do. How much money have you got left when you inevitably drop to the Championship? How much money have we got? How much funds have we got? Who are we going to lose in personnel? That means that Allardyce is going to have to work with that money that you give him to replace or replenish the rest of the squad with. You need to make things crystal clear with him. If he wants to stay, I'd probably be inclined to keep him. If he wants to go, of course, it's up to him, and we need to look quickly for a new manager. Not rush, but look with quick decision making as to who is going to come into the Premier League manager fold, because I feel like we've got a lot of good players at the moment. I think I've bookmarked a tweet which I'm going to talk about now. Actually, I'm going to go for that now. Bookmarks, let's go. So we've got this WBA squad from 2021 to 2022 as of the 1st of July 2021. So this is whoever's out of contract has left basically the club, and because we haven't decided to renew anybody yet. So here is our squad as it stands. So in goal, and this is without selling anybody for actual money. These are just players leaving on frees, and this is what we're left with. So we've got Sam Johnston in goal. We've got David Button and Alex Palmer as well, senior goalkeepers. Then fullbacks, we've got Furlong and Connor Townsend. Obviously, Gibbs will be leaving on a free into Miami, and Peltier, I think, as well, will leave on a free unless somebody decides to keep him. Centre-backs, Carl Bartley, Semi Ajayi, Dara O'Shea, Cedric Kipre. So Kipre coming back into the fold might be nice. There's 4 very good centre-backs there, 4 very good Championship-level centre-backs. Then there's, obviously, Ivanovic will be leaving us at the end of the season. If we renew his contract, I think that's just a very silly move. Centre midfielders, this is where I think improvement might be needed. Jake Livermore, Romain Sawyers, Raheem Harper and Sam Field. I like Field, I like Harper. I think Livermore and Sawyers, there needs to be improvement. I think Yukushlu is my first choice, but you're not going to get him. But it's worth a try. It's not worth giving up on him, is what I'm saying. On the wing, we've got wingers or attackers or, wide midfielders. We've got Mateus Pereira. Whether he goes or stays is completely a debate for another occasion. Matty Phillips as well. We've got Grady Dean Garner. And we've also got Robert Snodgrass, who's been injured for a while but still available. We've also got up front, we've got forwards, we've got Callum Robinson, Carlan Grant, Kenneth Zahor, and Callum Morton, who's obviously returning from a loan at Lincoln City, much like Palmer will be. And then under 21s, we've got players such as Josh Griffiths, Sol Shotton, we've got Rico Richards, we've got Ryan Tulloch, and we've also got Owen Windsor in there as well. So some alright options in there. I mean, Hegazi has a mandatory buyout clause on his loan to Al Hilal, I think is the name, or Al Ali, I can't remember which one it is, but he's got a mandatory buyout, so yeah, unfortunately he won't be joining us. It's not really a bad base to build on, to be honest. Just, really good back line, very good forward line, and just no midfield, to be honest. But yeah, that's without transfers, so it's not looking completely bleak, as I mentioned. yeah, it's going to be difficult. I remember I'm going to talk about the 17-18 relegation because, um, yeah, I think that was quite difficult for me to take personally because throughout my life as a West Brom fan and going to season ticket, as being a season ticket holder, I've been going since 2009, so I've seen us mainly in the Premier League. It was quite difficult to take for me because I think I looked at Big Dave gave us so much hope. See, beating I think we beat Man United quite late on. We beat Tottenham quite late on, and we lost to who did we? Well, we lost to Crystal Palace on the final day, but we didn't actually get relegated of our own accord. It was quite difficult to take because of that, because he'd given us so much hope. Here, I haven't had much hope. But yeah, I think a lot of fans are quite optimistic because they know next season. We know next season that it's going to be a bit more bit easier than this. I mean, hopefully, if we do things right, we could end up going back up. But for me, it's been a difficult season. I mean, it's quite polar opposite to the 17-18 because I've looked at this season and I've gone, we're not staying up. But last time, I think it was quite difficult to take. A lot of my favourite players in that squad that I've seen throughout my career. Ben Foster was, one of my favourites that I've seen. I think GMAT was still playing for us. Hegazi as well is one of my, favourite West Brom players. I met him. So yeah, it was fantastic to see that. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic to see that squad go down. Put it that way, with a lot of players that I enjoyed watching. But this one, I don't feel too much affiliation to the team. Might be because we haven't been to the ground for a year and a half now or so. So it's been quite difficult to keep in conjunction with the team and keep close to the team. But in all fairness, this podcast has helped. It's helped a lot of you guys come together. I think a lot of you have enjoyed listening to it, and I really hope you have. And we'll continue this in the Championship, of course. Obviously, we started in the Championship, and we'll, of course, finish it in the Championship as well. But yeah, hopefully things will change, and hopefully things will be different next season. But yeah, let's go on to talk some more about a bit about your thoughts and a bit about what I perhaps think about doing next season. So let's go over to that. Just in that little break, actually, I've just had a chance to listen to Sam Allardyce's press conference, and yeah, he kind of avoided the question about staying on next season, which sort of, I know he's not going to commit and he's not going to say, yeah, or you'll be staying here, whatever. Yeah, but he did kind of avoid the question. He looked very dejected at the final whistle. This is obviously a completely foreign situation for Allardyce to be in. Obviously, a guy that's never been relegated from the Premier League, which is obviously quite upsetting for him. I do feel a bit bad for him because he has tried. He tried to do what he knows, but yeah, it's quite upsetting for him. It's quite upsetting for us because we've gone down, but he's come down with us. I mean, it's a bit odd to see him being sent down is what I'm trying to get at. West Brom has suffered their 5th relegation from the Premier League. It is the first Premier League relegation of Sam Allardyce's career. West Brom picked up 19 points in his 22 Premier League games in charge. Won 4, drawn 7, lost 11. The joint third fewest points picked up since his appointment. So that might have been enough in other clubs, might have been enough for other clubs. So yeah, it's all over for Allardyce and his 100% record. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird to see us going down like that, especially with Allardyce coming as well. Let's talk a bit about next season, because obviously next season is going to be big. It's going to be a massive season for us. We need to be doing the right things. We need to pick the right players, pick the right manager. We'll start with the manager. I've asked you guys to vote here, Albion fans, for Big Sam in or Big Sam out. 69% of you have voted Big Sam in with a little tick next to you, and 31% of you have voted Big Sam out. So you guys are pretty overruling with what you've said there about what you believe is going to happen next season. Yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but it's not surprising. But yeah, you guys seem to think that Albion will be keeping Sam Allardyce, or you'd like to keep Sam Allardyce. I mean, it's going to be difficult to batter the Championship, as a lot of people have been saying. I think quite a few of you guys have been saying. I mean, Dwight Gale could be potentially coming back. He's available on a free. Not sure if that's somebody we'd take. Yeah, I just I'm a bit lost for words. I'll give you that. But I think firstly for next season we need to pick a manager. I think for me that's going to be Allardyce for now. If he wants to stay, it's going to be Allardyce. If not, I want Chris Wilder. I feel like that's my next option for him. I think Wilder's a good manager. I think I like him. I like him quite a lot. I think he's a very good football brain, very good football manager as well. So yeah, he'll be doing a good job in the Championship if he would come to us. I'm not sure whether that's something he's interested in or whether it's something that he's perhaps a bit sceptical about. But I do like Chris Wilder. Like the way he manages teams, like the way he works on a budget. It's just when he's given that budget, what happens? But he won't be given any budget, so it shouldn't be any problem for us, to be honest. Another thing is for the players, we need to work out who's staying, who's not staying. Pereira, that goal today was fantastic, a beautiful finish from him. But yeah, it was a beautiful finish from him, and he did really well. And he's done as much as he could this season. There have been times where he's looked a bit disinterested, probably because the rest of the team is not on the same wave level as him. However, yeah, it's weird. It's weird, isn't it? So Pereira, I think, is the kind of guy you want to keep around if you can. I think you need to try and price him out of the move if you can. But if not, I think Johnston's going to go 20 million. I wouldn't turn that down in a million years for me. So yeah, for me, he's going to have to stay. He's going to have to leave and go somewhere else, and go somewhere where he'll be a bit more probably make him look a better goalkeeper, to be honest, because we're the worst defensive side in the league, so he's not going to really look as bad if he leaves us. So yeah, for me, Johnston has to leave if he's going for that money. And we need to bring in some replacements, because I like the idea of bringing in some different players. Definitely that midfield needs a bit of reshaping for me. I'd quite like to see us. I think it's going to be difficult to see what we do next season. But for me, I'm confident that we can come and try and dominate the Championship next season. I think we need to let the players go, let out the dead wood in the squad. I think that's Kanu, Gibbs, Ivanovic. Apart from that, I think this squad is good enough. I think it's going to be difficult, but I think we've got it in us to stay up. Obviously, please feel free to let me know your thoughts over on Twitter at thebaggiespodcast or at @LouisBent_. I'd love to hear it. I mean, I'm a bit digested, a bit lost for words, so apologies if this podcast is a bit disjointed, because I haven't really... I'm straight up here after doing this, after watching the game. I'm just haven't really had a chance to mull it over, but today has confirmed for me that we need to just get things moving with the next season plans. Who's it going to be? Who's managing us? Who's playing for us next season? It's got to be that, firstly. I think that's got to be the way to go. I'm sure a lot of you guys will be coming in with your suggestions as to who to sign. I think that's something that we'll be doing next season. But yeah, we've done all right at times this season, but not good enough. Not good enough. I mean, well, I think one of the things that we need to mention about Matheus Pereira is only Peter Odemwingie and Romelu Lukaku have been directly involved in more goals in a single Premier League campaign for West Brom than Matheus Pereira, with 15 goals. Premier League is his level. So in terms of relegation side, I think Matheus Pereira is probably one of the best players to leave this division going down. I mean, it's just very annoying. So yeah, we'll see what happens next. But yeah, that's sort of all I've got to say on the matter. Hopefully next season we can come back swinging, and obviously there'll be some more podcasts coming to you. Maybe it's about some restructuring. Hopefully we can get some guests on in the near future. And hopefully we can start to work towards a Premier League return. But that does indeed bring me to the end of the Baggies podcast. It's been a pleasure having you here along for the ride of the Premier League journey. Still 3 games to go. Maybe even one of those could be a match day vlog if I end up getting myself a ticket or whatever for that. If I might end up getting my ticket for that West Ham game, so perhaps I might do a match day vlog video, whatever you want to see. and we can start to plan for next season. But we still got enjoy these 3 games. Hopefully we can see some different players that perhaps we haven't seen in a bit of a while. But yeah, look forward to seeing you all very soon in the next podcast. And we're not stopping. We're all Albion. We're sticking together, and we'll come back up better, stronger than ever. But yeah, Albion fans, this brings me to the end of this episode of the Baggies Podcast, a relegation special. And I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to subscribe. But thank you very much for listening. Goodbye, Albion fans. Take care. Have a good week.